Hi, welcome to part two. So after you've posted your weekly plan, what the student should do that week to updates, and you have everything organized in terms of folders and so forth, there's also the calendar feature. And the calendar feature will have any due dates that you've set with assignments. And again, anything you want to assign needs to be created correctly with a due date and so forth. So it appears on the calendar here. And so that support staff and students and parents all have everything in one place. But there might also be events that you want to post to the calendar as well. For example, if I was going to do a live help session on, say, Thursday, I could come here to the calendar, click on that date, and then I could set a time. So if I want it to be 10 a.m., and that's going to go until, let's say, 11 o'clock a.m., and this is going to be a biology help session on Google Meets, okay? And I could come in there and say what it is. I could even, if I wanted, provide the link to the session. So let's say, let's go right here. I'm going to provide the link, all right, and so forth. So this would be a good tool to post to the calendar. Again, all the due dates will be on there, but also if you have, specific times when you have a meeting online or whatever, you can do that as well. So I'll go ahead and create that. And there we go, 10 to 11 on Thursday. This wouldn't be a required session, but this would be an opportunity for students to check in. We would talk a little bit about whatever the assignments were for that week and so forth. So as far as adding materials, I have a folder here called Online Biology Assignments, and I'm going to go in there. That's where I'm going to add any assignments for the class. So I click, and there's a variety of things you can do. You can add assignment. This is probably what most of you will use most commonly. You can still do tests and quizzes or assessments, which are also like test quiz. And then in online classes, a lot of times they'll do online discussion. So add discussion is another feature that you might want to consider. This would allow students to, respond to a question, to, provide some kind of information that other students could also see and comment on to create some online interaction there between the students. But if I was going into add assignment, a couple of things that are important there. Make sure I give it a title of some sort. All right. And then in the description box, I need to really make sure that I include any kind of instructions and any kind of attach any kinds of resources that the students might need. So some of you were doing this before the closure and some of you weren't, but it's really important now that everything that you're assigning is created as an assignment and set up correctly. One common issue that I saw prior to the break was that sometimes people are using Google Drive assignments incorrectly, which is this button down here. If you have a Google Doc that you just want to show to students that has instructions on it or an example or whatever, you're going to include that. You're going to embed that in the description box up here. So I'm going to go to Insert Content and go over to Google Drive Resource App. Now you'll see I can put other things in here as well, YouTube, Khan Academy, links, images, etc. But if I go to Google Drive Resource App there, then what I can do is select from my drive the document that I want to include. So here we go, let's say it's this one, and I'm going to import it as embed. So there we go. Now the students will see that document. It'll, when they go into that assignment, it'll be right there and they can read it and see it. Google Drive Assignments is a feature to push out a template where each student gets an individual copy of that document that they fill out and then need to submit online. So if they're not filling it out, if you're just attaching something that they're going to write down in a notebook or something that just has instructions or, again, an example, you don't want to use Google Drive Assignments. That would be to push out a document. It's going to make a copy of the document for each individual student, and then the system expects those students to fill that document out and submit it. Okay? So make sure you're thinking about that carefully. If you're not sure, again, maybe reach out to me or look at some of the resources online more about the Google Drive assignment feature. Under scale or rubric, it works the same as before. There is a completion scale. So if you're just marking whether students completed something or not, the completion scale can be really helpful. And then, again, make sure that you set some kind of due date, depending on whether they're odd or even numbered classes. If you have classes on different days, you can select sections to customize, and that allows you to set a due date for each section individually. Lastly, really important to disable submissions if they're not submitting the thing on